Hi, it is iyikkam time again. So in the past video, I show how to map the ancient Wing Chun into the modern physics, in particular the impulse momentum theorem. And I mentioned that the Wing Chun is based on the mechanical advantage and torquing. Okay, that is the DNA of Wing Chun as a fighting art, which is based on the Shaolin short strike art. So I received many messages from our Wing Chun friend asked me to share more on this DNA of Shaolin and how it is within the Wing Chun and how to develop it. Okay. So today I'm going to share with you more, and we're going to use Cham Kyu techniques to elaborate what happened. And before that, I like to share with you the reason why I do this mapping the ancient Wing Chun into the physics is that, number one, we know that after the April 27, 2017, when the Chinese MMA guy KO the Tai Chi Grandmaster, okay, he's a Grandmaster because he started his own lineage, okay, called named as Lui Gong Tai Chi, okay. The Chinese MMA player Xi Xiaodong said, traditional Chinese martial art is outdated. Wing Chun is outdated because it is not scientific compared with MMA training. Okay? So we need to respond to that. Okay? Now, why is it important to respond to that? It is like if we make war with aliens from outer space. Okay? If the aliens is using laser blade, okay, as weapon, and we are using spear, how the world are we going to fight that war? So, similarly, what Xi Xiaodong said is that the MMA training is based on science, and traditional Chinese martial art is not based on science. It's based on something else, and Wing Chun is outdated. Well, this is exactly get to the aliens using the laser blade, and we are using what? Spear. How are you going to fight that? As we know, General Qi Ji Guang time 1560, the Chinese sword or spear broke apart when they crashed with the Japanese samurai sword. So if you don't have the technology, forget about it. Now, even if you have the technology, you might still lose. But then you know you lost because of your training. Okay? Because now your weapon is power. If you don't have the power weapon and you ignore that and you keep saying, oh, MMA defeat us because of they are professional, we are not professional. Well, General Qi Ji Guang can say that too. The Japanese pirate defeat the Chinese army because the Japanese pirate is professional and the Chinese army is not professional. Well, what is that solving anything? It doesn't solve anything. It's just an alibi. Okay? So the first step to step up is to raise the technology so that both parties have the same technology. Didn't General Qi Ji Guang do that? Yes. Read the history. He did that. That's the first thing. Okay? So this is the first reason why I want to map things into the impulse momentum theorem. The second reason is this. There is no such thing as the Chinese with its internal art, the qi, and all this jing and this magical everything live in one world, and the rest of the world live in the physical world. There's no such thing. But if you look at today, when you talk about Chinese martial art, then they start to talk about the internal art, the qi, the mind power, all these things. What you look at it? Are you serious? Are you still living in the world like everybody else? Or are you living somewhere else? Okay? Well, that gap has to be closed. The Chinese way of those kind of thinking got to be settled in the reality of physical world. Otherwise, that's called living in a fantasy zone. Okay? You can have all the hearsay of the Red Boat, Wing Chun, G-Sim can flying around, time traveling. But the whole entire world, like Mr. Xi Xiaodong of MMA doesn't care. Because you are not living in this physical world. So, the second reason why I want to map this is because we need to stand solid in this physical world. We cannot keep talking about legends and all this kind of stuff. Qi, sing qi. What the heck is that? You have 10 people who are going to present to you different things about qi, different opinion. The bottom line is that if you cannot stand in this physical reality world, forget about it. It's just exactly similar like the boxer librarian time in the 1900s, where the Chinese, some Chinese thinking, I use this qi gong, this shen gong, or whatever, they can anti-bullet, so they wage war with the Europeans and the Japanese. Well, you know what is the outcome. 150,000 people casualty. The Allies army march into Beijing, the emperors have to flee. Okay? So it is already 117 years. Are we going to still living in the fantasy zone? Wing Chun is not like that. Wing Chun is like General Qi Guang. And as we know today, Wing Chun can trace back to Shaolin, Shaolin trace to General Qi Guang. Everybody stand on the ground, physical ground, solid. Okay? That's the second reason. We must live in this physical world. Those fantasy stuff got to end here. It's a different era. The third thing, because it's based on physics, based on the reality of this world, everybody is equal based on the law of physics. There's no such thing as your lineage, my lineage. You can often hear people when they argue, they say, this is how my lineage do. This is what this grandmaster teach. Well, it doesn't matter now. It is based on law of physics. So there is no lineage politics. There's no authentic politics. Either you're going to fulfill the law of physics or you don't. If you don't, you're living in a fantasy zone. Okay? That's simple. So take all the title and badge of which lineage away. Take it out. Because for a real martial art like Wing Chun, there's no place for those. What Wing Chun face today is a world, a real world, which is based on scientific physics, law of physics, like everybody else. Okay? Sorry, there's no exclusive. It's not that you just tell some story that you are exclusive, you can play upper hand, or you're the oldest. Who cares you're oldest or not? If it doesn't meet the impulse momentum theorem, you have nothing. Why? When you go up to the ring, what really works there is the law of physics. Okay? So these three things. We got to bulldoze all those nonsense flat and stand on ground, solid ground. Otherwise, Wing Chun get wiped out. You look at for past 6 months, did anybody in internal or anything respond to what Xi Xiaodong said? They don't. They keeping having this, my martial art, I can use it before. Well, what's good is that? And now, as a Wing Chuner, I respond to it. We now upgrade everybody to the imposed momentum theorem, period. So we are as scientific as anybody who stand their feet on this ground. Okay? So this is very important. It's not that I start any lineage. I don't want lineage. I want to tear apart the lineage. Lineage is good for respecting people and the elderly. Lineage have no rooms when it comes to the meeting the law of physics. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to endanger everybody. Like those guys who say, I can have this qi gong or shen gong or whatever internal, so I can against bullet. So, okay, emperors, you go wage war with all these allies in the Europe and Japan. Bring their gun here. We fight them. Okay? We don't do idiotic like this. This is 117 years later. Okay? Now, Wing Chun have its core mechanics. As we speak last time on imposed momentum theorem, every style have their characteristics and uniqueness, and thus they have their special type of mechanic which they need to develop. For example, the Western boxing have their mechanics which supporting their momentum handling or their imposed momentum handling in the fight. BJJ having the same. Okay, Wing Chun. If Wing Chun has to be is unique, then it has to be the same. It cannot be jack of all trade everything. There's no such thing as everything. And we know Wing Chun is a sticking body short strike based on Shaolin short strike. We know today per document. Okay. Now, let's look into the Cham-Kyu set. Now, we can use the imposed momentum theorem to analyze it, to see what happened when we train Cham-Kyu set. Do we develop what the core mechanics of Wing Chun or we don't? Now, in Cham-Kyu set, everybody know this move. Okay? So, you have something like that. You put your leg out there, you slide in and do a bong type stuff. Okay? And then you put there, you slide in. Okay, so let's just analyze this with imposed momentum theorem. As we know, what is the imposed momentum theorem? One side is the impulse, which is generated. Another side, which is the change of momentum. Now, look at this. From here, I step, I slide. I step, I slide. In terms of momentum change, you know what you are doing? You accelerate and you drag or slide this leg, there's a deceleration. So you accelerate and you de-accelerate. You accelerate and de-accelerate. Why do you want to do that? You know that in order to generate high impulse, you want the momentum change to be huge. You cannot be accelerate, decelerate, accelerate, de-accelerate. Okay? What you need is you accelerate you accelerate, you're keeping accelerate so that your impulse is getting higher and higher. Okay? Now, you look at the YouTube for past 100 years, you can see that in all YouTube, disregard what lineage, it's always the leg there and you slide. The leg there, step, and then slide. Why is there anything wrong with this? No, it have nothing wrong with it. The issue is this is the first step for the beginner. Okay? When the beginning, we don't know anything, we want to learn the set, the form, and then the Sifu say, okay, you just go step and slide, step and slide. You know, you drag this leg. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. However, we do not proceed to saying that, okay, this is accelerate, decelerate, deaccelerate, accelerate, deaccelerate because you're dragging it. Okay? That with the impulse momentum theorem now you know it doesn't make sense. Okay? Why do I want to speed up my car, accelerate my car, and decelerate my car? Do I want to accelerate my car and then deaccelerate my car? It doesn't make sense. So, the second state of taking care of this accelerate and deaccelerate is actually when this leg landed, this leg is already there. So this do not become a drag. That fulfill the generate of high impulse, because impulse is the change of momentum. Okay, so you look at that. Is this, okay, is this generate more momentum or this? Okay, so is step, drag, generate more momentum or this? You see this generate more momentum because the velocity shoot up. Okay, the velocity change, okay, is much faster than this accelerate, deaccelerate. So the velocity you go one way and then you kind of slow down. Okay, so this is speed up, slow down. Okay, now for this is you just speed up. There's no slow down there. So with the impulse momentum theorem, one need to raise to the second level. Is the first level in the beginning, yeah, it's nothing wrong. Step. But you notice the issue of the momentum handling already. Now, for the second level, go to the top upper one spoon, you go one time. Okay? So this is the second, then you raise to the second level from the first beginning level. Now, it's not done yet, even though we, in the first level, we get into one piece without dragging or sliding. The whole body move as one, so your velocity is or your speed is speed up. You do not slow down. Okay. That solves the continuity of the velocity, but it doesn't solve the overshoot. In the real fight, if I do this, I can go overshoot. Okay? And of course, if I do this, I will not overshoot because it never get that speed or that type of impulse anyway. But if I do this, if I do too much, I go overshoot, right? So, the overshoot problem, how did that get solved? This is the core of Wing Chun, okay? So, the Wing Chun at high speed do not go overshoot. Why? Because it is a torque. Okay? So instead of like this, you see like this, body go that way, actually it is a torque. It is a spin here. Okay? So if I do, say, these three types, one with the step, slide, or a step slide, a drag. The second is you just one step go but linear. The third one is you go high speed but torque. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now the second is my body is sitting. Now the third one, I want to go full force. See my body, my axis. I still in the balance. For the second one is I'm leading like a fall over like that if I do very fast. And it's easy to be tricked into overshoot and keep myself over. Okay? So to solve this overshoot issue is to convert, instead of I need to brakes. If I go too fast, I have to brake in order to stable myself, right? So I have to brake myself, right? You don't brake yourself. You store that energy in the torque. Create a lot of torque here, okay? And then you can keep storing the energy in the torquing now. So you don't waste the energy with this torque. Another thing is this. It's very important, it has to be this torque. Why? Say I go this way. That guy go from here, run to this side. He's going to attack me here. If I go straight this way, I have to against my own momentum in order to change my direction. And that is very clumsy and I have to deal with my own momentum. But if I go in the torque way, he come here, I just torque back. Instead of go linear. So that's why Wing Chun, as you can see in Cham Kyu, is all this torque. Okay? So that is the core of Wing Chun. So this is Cham Kyu, right? So if you look at 1840, the iyikkam shooting tao, okay? The shooting tao which passed down by the iyikkam in records. It is this, okay? It is the torque with the bone always come back like that. So that's why it's covered. And this also get into another point. That's why the bone is not high like that. Because if it's high like that, the attack is that it's very clumsy for me to do a chop. If here I go toward this way, just chop this way, okay? And this is like the sickle. You can cut this way and you can cut this way, okay? So if you see, we compare again from the beginning, okay? Step, slide, step, slide. You know you cannot do high speed. Now you take out the momentum, you say, well, I want to do one out with one continuity, okay? Okay, instead of, okay, do it at once. Okay, you know the issue is that the overshoot. If I do it really fast. And the Wing Chun solution is torquing. So I can do very fast, I don't have to stop myself, and I'm not going to fall over, and if something comes from back, I just turn it back because my center axis is always in balanced position. So that is the engine of Wing Chun. In Xiu Lim Tao, Cham Kyu, Beauty, all using this kinds of stuff. The bottom line is, right now we know, we are in post-momentum theorem. Cham Kyu have this 3 level. Slide, the first level for beginner. Second is the continuity. The third is the torquing. 3 level. So it is based on physics, Nobody can argue, say, oh, this is your lineage, this is my lineage. My lineage do it this way, that way. Well, if you want to go high-speed dynamic, you better talk. Otherwise, one will not be able to implement that in high-speed dynamic situations. And fighting is an exchange of momentum in the high-speed condition, high-speed dynamic. Okay? So if one keeping training this for an entire life, one is not going to go nowhere. One cannot even use it in the real life. And then if you say, oh, I want to do to cut away the dragging, the sliding, still you cannot do it because you're going to cause overshoot. But with the torque, you know you can do it. That's the mechanics. That's how it is. Let the law of physics show us what is the proper way. And one don't have to listen to anybody. Okay? That's why it's very important that we now have these tools called impulse momentum theorem. Okay? Now, that is how Wing Chun is. If you develop this, you use this type of mechanic all over the Wing Chun, you have no problem. And you can actually satisfy the impulse momentum theorem because you can speed up using the tool to generate the change of momentum and to get your impulse. Okay? It's check and balance that. Impulse one side, momentum the other side. If you cannot generate this change of momentum, forget about the impulse. You cannot have the impulse. You don't have the force. Okay, disregard, you say chi or all everything, you will never have it. Because it is the impulse momentum theorem which governs, not your chi or anything. Okay? Now, speaking on other arts, for example, people lately is debating on the Shaolin Wing Chun is the origin of Wing Chun. Well, the issue is that the Wing Chun, Shaolin Wing Chun, do not have this kind of torque design. You look at their Wing Chun Kit, which is many in the website, be in Chinese website or English website, claim that their Wing Chun sets, where you always put one arm this way and play with this, that set is the mother of the Wing Chun. Okay, this is Shaolin Wing Chun set, is the Wing Chun set, which is the mother Wing Chun. Well, physically by impulse momentum theorem, it doesn't happen. Why? When you lock this thing up, you cannot talk. You cannot talk properly. Again, impulse momentum theorem, you apply it, you see right away it is or it is not. I'm not here to say that who is better, okay, which art is better, is Shaolin Wing Chun or Wing Chun. But I'm saying that based on impulse momentum theorem, you stand there, you do this, you're not going to develop the torque which exists in Cham Q, 標指小連頭 set and the iyikkam 小連頭 1840. You can see that DNA there. And that DNA can carry up to the 1784 Shaolin, it say in Chinese, 接转轮法, join, changing, rotating. Okay, that's what it is. So you can see, look at my whole bowl, 7 bowls. Every part have to rotate. Where you have this kind of thing, you cannot do that. Impulse momentum theorem. Okay. Same thing is with white crane. You look at white crane. Do they have this? They don't. Same thing with Tai Chi. Be it the Yang Tai Chi or in the the Chen Tai Chi. Chen Tai Chi using the dantian to rotate and so forth. As we know in the different YouTube, this is a long fist. The Yang Tai Chi using the pushing. Look at it, how they're fighting. It's long fist. While Wing Chun is using the twerking and the snap. The twerking is inherited from Shaolin. The snap is inherited from Meister. However, the twerking is the key DNA because the fighting in the second and third zone need that. And the strike from Ermain is to refine that. Okay? So one is the main, the Shaolin is the main, and then the Ermain is the subordinate. And you can see that like the Zhao Yang of the White Crane is in Wing Chun, in the Xiu Lian Tao set. Well, that is the subordinate. So we need to know what is the main, what is the subordinate. All of this, when we put it, map it on top of impulse momentum theorem, it's clear what is what. So that's the beauty of it. And here on, nobody argue those. Well, if you have a better mechanics based on impulse momentum theorem, you show it, and that's it, based on physics. Got nothing to do with who is more authentic, who is more myth in the story and so forth. Everything based on this solid ground of reality. And thus Wing Chun live with everybody in the same world. That's important. And we know it has to be taught. You cannot just go run straight. If you run straight, you either have to break yourself or you go overshoot. And in the high speed, you can afford that. And even if you break, you're wasting energy. It's not efficient anymore or not effective anymore. So you want to store the torque by talking. It's like what? Look at those people who play golf. If they just swing their arm, how much energy they have? Sorry, I should use it better. How much momentum change they can do? Okay, so this is fit to impulse momentum theory. If they just swing the club here. But you see then, they swing it with what? They build up the torque in swinging. In golf, you look at that, they analyze it. Same with the hockey. Okay? So Wing Chun need to get into there, and this is what I will share with you today. We know exactly what it is very clear already. So we don't have to wait or guess for a lifetime. Wing Chun is not Shaolin Wing Chun. Wing Chun is not White Crane Wing Chun. Wing Chun is not Meister. Wing Chun is not Northern Shaolin. Wing Chun is not Southern Praying Mantis. Because we know the signature which is mapped on top of impulse momentum theorem, we know exactly what it is. And we know how to develop it, and we know how to improve it if we need to. So this is for you today.